Chapter 56, Black Magic Woman, Santana. Originally released on the album Abraxas, Columbia, 1970. Written by Peter Green. The Black Magic Woman is the ideal woman. Summons demons, holds seances, levitates, is skilled in the art of necromancy, conducts ritualistic orgies with the dead, always out of body, a creature with dark powers, and you've got her all to yourself. Bare-breasted, blue-veined, short, powerful, and ugly. She provides for you. You're incompetent of doing anything without her. She's the hidden hand, the power behind the throne. Black power, flower power, solar power, you name it, charisma, she's got it. She's what dreams are made of, got the inside track to your consciousness, puts everybody in your debt, makes others depend on you. She's the bad fairy, the evil genius who turned you into a werewolf, gives you horns and a cloven hoof. But you have no other option. She's made you wealthy, feared and loaded, put a spoke in your wheel. She's your protector, your guardian, puts a jinx on your enemies, bewitches your competitors, turns your opponents feeble, and any rival that's hostile to you, she makes them weak and flabby, turns them into good losers and fulfills their death wishes. She's got mesmerizing energy, cuts you off from your vital center, surrounds your inner nature with an adobe wall, and bricks it off with reinforced concrete. She's one in a million, wondrously strange. Stands over you in a military coat, sailor suit, uplifted brassiere, Dutch cap, and a black snake bullwhip. You're her bellboy, a footman dressed to the nines, double-breasted jacket, evening shirt with a stiff collar, 3-pointed pocket handkerchief. She's witty, literate, and well-educated. At times you think she's trying to kill you, or maybe she's planning to. Other times you think you might be imagining things. Her voice gets on your nerves, the low drone, the squeaking sounds. The sing-song voice can sound like a cow, a bird, a horse, or the bark of a dog. She's well-born, blue-blooded, an observer of signs. You consult her on everything, especially business transactions. She sees to it that everything goes your way. Always at midnight, always on the night before. She feeds on the entrails of your victims, and if you pull back her skin, you'll see the head of an animal. She's your champion bulldyke, your Spider-Woman, your hoochie-coochie queen, and she puts you on the top level. There's no heights you can't ascend. You're her prototype hero, her straight man, the kingfish. But you're over the hill, on your way to the junk heap, got your hat in your hand, kneeling down, begging her not to abandon you, pleading with her, "Aren't you good enough? Why don't you love me? I'll never love you. Try and make me." She's a hard case, full of mumbo-jumbo, and her kisses have a pungent smell. But you got lucky. You fell into the shithouse and came up with bushels of gold coins. You stepped on the ladder, always a pay rise. You stay in line and you follow the book. Pug-nosed, grim-faced and short on looks, but she's tall and commanding as well. Yellow blonde hair, shoulder length, always barefoot, compassionate eyes, yellow with black pupils, right hand extended outward, palm up. It's your identity, your psychic field that attracts her. She goes ahead of you or behind you, sometimes falls across your body twisting loosely, for pleasure or pain, for good or ill. Anyone who has a bone to pick with you falls at your feet. She's your tower of strength, and you can't let her go. Can't let her slip through your fingers. You'd be lost and ruined, cut off without a scent. Leigh Brackett was born in Los Angeles in 1915. She wrote for the science fiction pulps in the early 40s, but moved to screenplays after Howard Hawks read No Good from a Corpse, a detective novel she wrote in 1944. Hawks was looking for a writer who could collaborate with William Faulkner on the Humphrey Bogart movie he was set to direct, an adaptation of Raymond Chandler's novel, The Big Sleep. Hawks, thinking that Brackett's hard-boiled style would add some blood and guts to the script, and unable to glean the author's gender from her name alone, famously told his assistant, "Get this Brackett guy." Luckily, that Brackett gal was not offended, and helped Faulkner navigate the novel's labyrinthian plot. It was her that Bogart asked who killed Owen Taylor, the chauffeur, in the Philip Marlowe story. Brackett, Faulkner, and Hawks were all stumped, and a telegram was quickly sent to Chandler, who went back through his book and wired back, "I don't know either." Brackett soldiered on, discovered that an occasional loose end doesn't distract from the story. She racked up a number of other film credits, including the John Wayne, Dean Martin, Ricky Nelson western Rio Bravo, also directed by Howard Hawks. At the time of her death in 1978, she had just completed the first draft of The Empire Strikes Back, the second Star Wars movie, leaving subsequent drafts to be written by George Lucas and Larry Kasdan. Leigh Brackett never stopped writing western, crime and science fiction, pretty much up till the end. In the June 1949 issue of Thrilling Wonder Stories, Brackett published a gripping story titled Sea Kings of Mars, which became one of her best novels under the new title The Sword of Rhiannon. Reading this story, one can see why Lucas tapped Brackett for the Star Wars sequel. The book travels through time and the solar system, yet feels as familiarly exciting as a Western serial at a Saturday matinee. Lead character, Matt Carse, even has a bit of Indiana Jones about him, as he searches for hidden caverns on Mars, where the Martian god Rhiannon is said to have been imprisoned by other deities for giving advanced technology, including weaponry, to early races on the Red Planet millennia ago. It was in this context that Brackett presaged the third of Arthur C. Clarke's 3 laws of science fiction. Any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. She wrote, "Witchcraft to the ignorant, simple science to the learned," implying that Rhiannon's gift, commonplace in Matt Carse's home era, seemed like magical miracles in the pre-technological past. Yet one place where additional learning does not disentangle the mystery of the subject is music. As a matter of fact, the argument can be made that the more you study music, the less you understand it. Take two people. One studies contrapunctual music theory. The other cries when they hear a sad song. Which of the two really understands music better? E. B. White had a saying about humour that seems applicable to music. Analysing humour is like dissecting a frog. Few people are interested, and the frog dies of it. But that has never stopped people from depending on facts, laws, rules, and structure, so much that the joy of discovery is leached out and the magic in the melody is sucked away. And then there are lyrics. Often is heard a discouraging word about the work generated from Tin Pan Alley. It became common to dismiss these songs with their moon, June, spoon, rhyme schemes and simple structures. And often, when you see them on the page, they seem so slight, it's hard to believe there is a song in there at all. But it's important to remember that these words were written for the ear and not for the eye. And as in comedy, where a seemingly simple sentence can transform into a joke through the magic of performance, an inexplicable thing happens when words are set to music. The miracle is in their union. In the same way that Velcro was invented after the Swiss engineer George de Mastral returned from a hunting trip and was made curious by the thousands of burrs that were attached to his woolen coat and dog fur. Music naggingly adheres itself in countless pinpoints of memory and emotion. The myriad of rules governing both the literature of lyrics and the mathematics of melody are mere guidelines, and those who slavishly follow them, who can only colour inside the lines, run the danger of never transcending craft to create anything truly lasting. Black Magic Woman is a fine example. Is it blues? Music aficionados will regale you with other influences, footnoting other artists and quotations from other songs. And those stridently schooled in the parochial structure of musicality may point at tempo changes and technical folderol like hammer-ons, transposition between various harmonic modes, and the shift between Hungarian and Latin polyrhythms. But none of that speaks to the heart of the song. And on the page, the lyrics may not impress. In 2 of the 3 6-line verses, one of the lines is repeated 4 times. In the third, only 3 times. Yet, married to music, the combination becomes hypnotic, rhapsodic, somehow both mysterious and direct as a telegram. Like a great painting, it has depth, somehow different each time you approach and illuminated from somewhere deep inside, inviting repeated contemplation. All the self-styled social critics who read lyrics in a deadpan drone to satirize their lack of profundity only show their own limitations. They are as useless as a police officer reading the transcript of Lenny Bruce's act in the courtroom during his obscenity trial. Just as that police officer misses the essential spark in Lenny's performance, so do the others miss the magic that happens when lyrics are wed to music. Some would call that marriage chemistry, but chemistry seems too based in science and therefore replicable. What happens with words and music is more akin to alchemy, chemistry's wilder, less disciplined precursor, full of experimentation and fraught with failure, with its doomed attempts to turn base metals into gold. People can keep trying to turn music into a science, but in science, 1 and 1 will always be 2. Music, like all art, including the art of romance, tells us time and time again that 1 + 1, in the best circumstances, equals 3.